Hey everyone, welcome to Canvas. This video tutorial is a general overall introduction to Canvas. It will mirror the presentations that were given during faculty training this summer. So this again is a very general introduction to Canvas, and it'll answer kind of your big general questions. There are also videos that break down specific tasks, so if you don't want to watch the whole presentation, if you want to see it broken down by specific tasks, those options are available to you. However, again, this video is a general introduction to the entire Canvas system. Okay, so let's talk about how we access Canvas, where we go to. So the address for Canvas is listed up here. regisjesuithighschool.instructure.com. By entering that in, it should take you to a page that looks just like this. Now we have another option for accessing Canvas if this is too long or hard to remember, or if you don't want to bookmark this. The other option is to go to our regular Regis page, click on Faculty, and after you log in, the option for Canvas has been pinned to this taskbar here. So the other way that we've been accessing FA Web it's been pinned here. Canvas is the same thing. So by simply clicking this, it will take you to the exact same page, and it auto-logged me in. So let's talk about how we log in. The user ID that you'll be asked to type in is the first part of your Regis Jesuit email. So for instance, whatever comes before the @regisjesuit.com in your email address is your user ID. So for me, it's eGlenn. The password is the same password that you use to log into the school network. So the password you need to type in when you wake your computer up or when you log into your email, it's the same password for Canvas. And because we have to change our network passwords every 90 days, your computer lets you know that, and you're asked to do that every 90 days, it will automatically change in Canvas. It might take a couple seconds, so don't freak out if it doesn't work instantly, but they are going to be tied together, so by changing one, it will be changed throughout. So you don't need to worry about changing your Canvas passwords when your network password expires. They're tied together. Okay, so you type those guys in, and then you hit login. What this page will take you to is what's called your user dashboard. This is the general home page for your entire Canvas account. And what it will show you as you become more active in Canvas is all of the general announcements, upcoming quizzes, participation in discussion boards. It'll give you a kind of general summary in what's happening in all of your classes. So for me, it's obviously kind of blank right now. However, as general activity starts to occur, it will be shown on this page here. So it's just kind of a general info page, if you will. Anytime you want to come back to this dashboard screen, all you have to do is click on this logo right here. The Regis Jesuit logo, anytime you click on it, will take you back to this page. So if you're in your courses and you want to come back to this page, again, just click on this guy and it will bring you back to your home page, if you will. Now, if you look, there's a taskbar up here, the gray and red. This will always be at the top of every page you're in. And it's kind of your quick links, if you will, to any of these options up here. We'll go through these in just a second. Now, if you look in the upper right-hand corner here in this red bar, these are the settings for your personal account. So if you want to change any way that you are receiving notifications or the way that your preferences are configured, you'll want to do it up here. So let's talk about settings really quick. So here are settings. Again, these are specific to you. And you might be asked on your Canvas page, if you have not done this already, to configure your user notification preferences. And that'll bring you to a page like this. You can access this page at any time by doing what I just did, going into settings, and then clicking on the left-hand bar here, notifications. What this page here does, this is specific again only to you, is how you want to be notified of activity on your page. The kids will see the exact same thing, and they will have the exact same options that you do in terms of how you want to be notified of activity on your page. And if you come over to this right-hand column here, first of all, it shows you the method that you'll be contacted. So for instance, I have designated that I want to be contacted via email when any of these things occur. The kids, if you want to change it to something other than your email address, I can show you how to do that in just a second. But if you look within each box, you're going to have 4 options of how you want to be contacted in regards to each of these specific activities. Those 4 options are the check mark, which means that you want to be notified instantaneously of activity within this specific option here. So here is your notify me right away, so you want instantaneous notification. Your next option is a daily summary of what's happened in regards to this specific activity. A weekly summary, or the X means don't send any notification. You don't want to be notified that there has been a due date change, for instance, or that there has been a file that's been uploaded. So some of these seem a little silly for teacher preferences. However, if we think about the students having this exact same list, it can be very helpful to them to be notified that you've changed a due date, or you've uploaded a grading policy, or that you've created an announcement, or that there's been a discussion created, or that somebody else is added to the discussion. So again, there are a lot of options here, and you can change any of these at any time. So for instance, if right now you don't want to be notified of anything, or you want to be notified of everything, you have complete control over how you're receiving that information. Now, if you do not want your email address to be where these notifications go to, you're going to come over, so we're still in settings, and you're going to come over to the settings tab. And you'll have the opportunity to add another email address or change how you're being contacted. And you can see down here the services that are supported here. If you want to link it to your Facebook, your Twitter, if you want to receive a text message, those are the options that are given to you. And again, the kids have the exact same choices. So frankly, there are a lot of ways that we can be in touch with them, and they have the ability to determine how we contact them. So it is truly user-friendly and user-related. So again, they kind of don't have an excuse, which I personally find charming. So again, that is for your personal settings. Again, the kids have the exact same options. Now, coming back to the home screen, or the dashboard screen, if you will, and looking at this gray bar here. Again, this gray bar is going to be always available to you, regardless of what page you go to. If you hover over courses, you should see a drop-down menu of all of your mega courses, if you will. So for instance, I should see Honors Biology listed once, even though I have 2 sections. The sections are going to be within my Honors Biology course, and I'll show you how to look at that in just a second. So if you're missing an entire course, this is a problem, and we can fix that, but you need to let either myself or Tracy Hollinger know that you're missing an entire course. Again, your sections should be embedded within this course. Assignments. For us, this will be assignments that we have assigned, that we have created and are coming up. For the kids, what they'll see is all of the assignments that have been assigned to them through all of their different classes. And again, in the courses, so we obviously see the courses we teach, the kids will see all of the courses that they are enrolled in this drop-down menu here. Grades, we're going to kind of skip over this feature. This isn't going to be something that we're going to use. Canvas, they do have a grading feature. We're not going to really use it though, so you can kind of ignore that if you will. And you'll also see a link here to the calendar. This is your calendar for all of your courses. For the kids, it will be their calendar for all of their courses. Let's go ahead and start with the calendar. Let's chat about the calendar first. So by clicking on the calendar, you'll see this pop up. This will be the calendar for all of their courses. So every course that they have will have a calendar that will be linked to this mega calendar. The calendar is capable of displaying 10 calendars at a time. If there is a calendar that you would like to minimize or not see, you just have to click on it and it will go away. If you would like to bring the calendar back up, you just click again. Now you'll note you do have a personal calendar tied to Canvas, which you can feel free to use if you'd like. Just make sure that when you are creating an assignment or adding something to the calendar that you don't accidentally send it out to a class, because that would be awkward. In the calendar, something else we'd kind of like to encourage teachers to think about, when you are adding something to the calendar, it would be ideal if it is a short and sweet sort of thing. So for instance, chapter 23 reading is due. The reason for that is that the kids are going to have, again, probably up to 10 calendars displayed at a time. So if we're putting long explanations or lengthy text within the calendar, it's going to be really overwhelming for them and it's going to be hard for them to read. And it's not going to streamline them as much as this calendar has the ability to do. So we'd ask that you, if you're adding an assignment or an event, that it's shortened to the point, and I can show you how to do that. If you would like to put a lot of text in here, I can show you ways to do that where it won't be overwhelming for the kids. You can have a lot of information here, but not overpopulate their calendars. So what's kind of cool about the calendar here is this is a great place to create events and assignments. However, again, those events and assignments, when created this way, will be specific to your entire class. So all sections of your classes will receive assignments when they are created this way. If you want to differentiate your red day versus your white day sections in terms of the creation of an event or an assignment, I'll show you how to do that in the course page, but doing it this way isn't a good way, again, to differentiate between red and white. But if you would like to create a calendar event or assignment, you just click on the calendar anywhere, it doesn't matter, and you'll have two tab options here. You'll have the event tab and you'll have the assignment tab. By clicking on the event tab, you are creating an event. You can type in whatever you want it to be, the date which the event will take place, and the times. And then you choose the calendar that you want to assign it to. So again, this would be for your personal calendar, and these would be for any of your sections. So again, if I send this to physical science, every single section of physical science will receive this event. I cannot, in the feature this way, differentiate between red days and white days. If you create an assignment this way, again, you title it, say the date it is due, time, and then the calendar that you're assigning it to. Now, if you want more options, you can click on this guy right here, and it will take you to this page. So now I'm within my physical science class page, and I'll show you again how we get to this in another way. But you have the ability to name your assignment, to embed as much text as you would like. If you want to link it to a file or to a page or to an image, you have the ability to embed that text in here. Tell how many points it's out of, when it's due, if it's in a specific assignment group, which we can talk about in just a minute. You do have more options, more than this as well, how it's going to be graded, if it's going to be submitted via Canvas, how it's going to be submitted, or if you're collecting it in class. Now, when you come down here, you're going to see some options you have here. Who this assignment is for. Your drop-down menu, this here will give you your red versus white differentiation preference. So if I want my red day to turn it in on the 23rd, and I want my other red day class to have it due on the same day, so my other red day section of this class, and then my white day section I want to do on the 22nd. So this is the way that you can differentiate. You can't do this straight on the regular calendar page. You need to go into more options in order to differentiate. Now, just a little note here about what this indicator is here. This will not send it to your entire section, as you would think perhaps it would. This title here that you'll see in yours, this is just you. So this, if I was to create an assignment right here using this code here, this would send it just to me. So this code here does not send it to your entire mega course, it just sends it to you. So there really is no reason for you to look at this kind of code ever. It doesn't really apply to anything. Don't send things here. It's not going to go anywhere. So in order to delete an assignment like I just created here, go in, click the X, and then it'll go away. So this is how you're going to differentiate. Now, if you want to be super productive and proactive and put a ton of things on your Canvas, but you don't want the kids to see it yet, if you want it to remain hidden, you can change when they can see it. So this is available from date. If I click it on the 21st, they will not have access to this or see it until the 21st. And conversely, if you want something to disappear and you don't want them to have access to it anymore, you can click on this. You can click on that date and it'll disappear at a certain time. So for instance, if they're submitting something at a certain point and you don't want to accept late submissions or, whatever, you would have the option to then choose this date to make it disappear. And then if you want to notify users, for instance, like a date's changed or you've added a file, etc., you click on notify users that this content has changed. And then if you update the assignment, you can come to the calendar and you'll see that they have been put there, which is outstanding. Now, a great feature here of the calendar is if there's a change and you want to change the due date of something simply and quickly, for instance, if we have a snow day or, there's a change in the schedule, if you want to change the date, all you have to do is click on whatever it is you're changing and you can drag it to the day you would like to change the due date to. And this will automatically change all of the text everywhere in this assignment to state when it is due. It'll change where it shows up on the kids' calendars, and the kids will receive a notification that the date has been changed. So it's really simple and streamlined, and it's really easy to do. So again, if you want to move something, you just drag and drop, and it will change, which is pretty cool. Okay. That is the calendar. If you have any questions about the calendar, feel free to let me know and I'd be glad to walk you through it. Okay, so now let's talk about the individual courses. So I'm going to go into one of my courses. So I'll go into my physical science course. Now I'm in the course that is specific for physical science. All of my physical science sections are tied to this course. This isn't differentiated via red day versus white day. It's for everyone. Now, if at any time I want to get back to this home course page, I'll simply click on the home button right here, and this will take me back to this page. Now, I'm going to walk you through the links that are on the left-hand column here, all of these options, and what kind of some general ideas about what they can do. Now, you'll notice that this is going to keep popping up. This is your next step tab, and Canvas has embedded this with new courses in order to kind of walk you through the process of creating a course page. So these are kind of the steps, and these are all really helpful links that walk you through if you want to do any of this. Now, no activity on your course will be visible to students until the course is published, and it gives you this indicator right here that it is not published. So you can publish it here or you can publish it here. Now, pros and cons to publishing and when you want to publish. As soon as you publish the course, kids will start receiving notifications that you're changing things. So if you're going to do a lot of tinkering and you're not ready for kids to see it yet, you don't have to publish it. But again, keep in mind that they're not going to be able to access it or see it until it is published. So that's just kind of it. Let you know about that. So again, let's pop over back to this left-hand column and walk through stuff going on here. So the announcements tab. Announcements are a good way to send out a blast to the kids to let them know, for instance, if they need to bring a calculator or a dictionary, or if they need to have something for class, you can send it out this way. Now, announcements will go, again, because it's tied to your course page, it will go to everyone in your course. So for instance, if you want to send out an announcement to your Red Day kids specifically, this is not the way to do it. Well, I mean, you certainly can, but you would need to let them know in the text of the announcement that the announcement is for Red Day kids only, because the White Day kids will be able to see it too. There isn't a way to differentiate the announcement. So announcements it's kind of like sending an email. So you'll give a topic title for the announcement and then text. If you want to embed a file or an image, you have the ability to do that over here. And the other thing about the announcements is that they will all be stored. So every announcement that you create will be stored under announcements. So if you want to have the kids reference an archived announcement, so an announcement from perhaps weeks or months ago, it will still show up in the announcements feed at all times, which is pretty cool. Next one down is assignments. So we walked through how to create an assignment via the calendar. If you want to create an assignment within your particular course, so you don't want to do it via calendar, you want to do it this way, this is the way to do it. So if you want to create an assignment, you click on add an assignment, and this will pop up here so you can name it, talk about what kind of assignment it is, and by clicking more options over here, you have the ability to go in, and this is the same page that we got to via the calendar. So again, points, due date, and all of your options here. So those are your assignments. And again, this will be specific to this course. Discussions. Discussions are any sort of kind of discussion boards you want to have with the kids. So to create a new discussion, you come over here and click New Discussion. This little gear here is your kind of general settings button, and it's the visual indicator that Canvas uses. So anytime you see this symbol here, the gear, it's going to be about settings and if you want to adjust them. So what kind of things you can do with discussions is if you want something that the kids can see or read, and you can set the option where they can respond or they don't respond. Either way, those are settings that you have the ability to do if you want the kids to attach files. So for instance, this would be one way that you can have them submit things. So again, those are some of the setting options you have here. Now in terms of the types of discussions here, so I'm just going to create a fake discussion right now. We're going to talk about math. I don't know why, but we are. So I've just created this discussion. Again, you have a lot of options on things you can embed here. Come back to the discussion. So I created that. So I created the math discussion. Now, if I want to use discussions a lot, and if it might become challenging for the kids to navigate, for instance, you can pin the discussion. And what it means to pin the discussion is to have it appear on the top of the student's page. So if you think it might be getting a little overwhelming or they're having a hard time locating a certain discussion, if you pin it, all you need to do is drag it and drop it here. And so when the kids come to their discussion page, the math one will be first that they see. So it's kind of another way to eliminate confusion. If you would like to create a discussion that you don't want the kids to be able to participate in, so for instance, you just want to post something and you really aren't interested in their feedback, you can come down to the closed for comments. All you need to do, again, to change the settings for this particular discussion is to drag and drop it. So now this discussion just became closed for comments, and the kids can see it, but they won't be able to interact with the discussion. One way that I used this in my physics class last year is I would create a discussion for a homework assignment, and I would tell the kids that I would be monitoring the discussion board for instance from 6 to 7 p.m. And if they had questions, I would be available live to discuss it with them. And it worked really well, and the cool thing about the discussion feature is that the kids can comment on each other's. So for instance, I would create a discussion and then the kids would take it over from there and be answering each other's questions and communicating about homework. And this is a good environment to do that because I have access to it and I have the ability to see what's going on. So instead of them texting questions, this is a much more open and controlled forum in which I have some control and some discretion into how the conversation progresses. So I very much appreciated this feature in discussions. Coming down, so we're going to skip grades. Canvas does have a grading feature embedded within it, and it will automatically grade certain quizzes for you, but again, we're really not going to be using that this year. So coming down to people, this is going to be a list of all kids you have in your classes. In this part here, you're not going to see them broken up by section. You'll see that they're tied to a specific section, but it won't break it up for them in this, and that's okay. That's very okay. The options you'll have with your kids. So if you would like to remove a kid from your course, you'll come down to remove. If you want to change what section they're in, so if they switched sections on you, you can do that here. And if for whatever reason, this shouldn't apply to us quite as much, but if you need to resend an invitation to them to get them to enroll in your course, you have the option to do that here. So those are your kiddos. Pages, so next option down. If you would like to create a page other than the home page, this is where you can do it. So I'm going to jump to a different course quickly to show you an example of how this can work. So in looking at, this is a different section that I used this course last year with my physics girls. But what I did is when we started a new unit, I would create a page for them for that specific unit. So for instance, when we were doing momentum, I created a momentum page. And they display again on the right hand side over here. So by clicking on this momentum page, I would tell them, the dates of the unit, some cool resources for them to utilize in this unit, and I would link it to the files that we used in that unit. So by clicking on this, it will take the kids to all of your files for that course. So in the Chapter 7 files, I put the PowerPoints that the book gives, solutions to book problems, handouts. All the handouts that I gave out during that section are going to be referenced here as well. So this is a really good option for kids that are either losing things or were not present in class, or if you want to put course readings up here, that would be another really good option. Anything that you don't want to make copies of, but you want the kids to have, this is a great place to store things. So that's an example of how pages can be used. Really, the possibilities are endless here on how you want to use these, but again, pages are just separate new screens different from the home page. So again, I have a fluids one here, I had a waves and sound page. Again, possibilities are endless. This can be utilized however you see fit. Now, coming down to files, this is what I linked on my other page. These are the files for this course. So you're not going to see, for instance, in my science courses, I wouldn't see physical science files here. I would only see physics files here. They're not tied together, so you don't have mega files. These are the files for that particular course. And in order to create a new file, you can just come over to these options right over here. You can add a file. You can add a whole folder if you want, and then you have the option to upload assignments or an entire zipped file if you would like to this way. And again, it's broken down very similar to other operating systems in terms of the nesting. You can create folders within folders. It's really however you see fit. If you would like to lock any of these, for instance, you don't want the kids to look at something yet, you have the ability to do that here with this button. If you want to edit something within either the naming of the file or how the kids see it, you'll click on the little pencil here. If you want to completely delete, you click on the trash can and then it will completely go away. So those are the files. Next is the syllabus. What the syllabus will do is it will keep track of everything that has gone on in your course. Now, if you want to perhaps put your actual course syllabus in here, we'll come over here to edit syllabus, and you'll have the option to either embed anything you want in here. So, and it will also keep a running list of everything that's been assigned, quizzes, tests, etc. through Canvas for your course. Canvas will do that automatically. So by creating a new assignment or a new quiz, it will automatically populate in your course syllabus details. And again, if you want to link it to a file or to an image, again, this bar will always be popping up on the right-hand side when you want to edit things. Okay, outcomes is something we're not going to really worry about so much. That's more of a this would be for aligning state and national outcomes to a particular course, which isn't anything that we're using quite yet. So next I'm going to jump down to our quizzes feature. You have the ability in Canvas to create quizzes, surveys, etc., and they will be within your Canvas course. This is a really powerful feature and you can do a lot of really cool things with it. And this is something that, again, this would be more for a different video in terms of specifics for quizzes, but pretty much anything you can imagine you can create within this. And the other cool thing is that when you create questions, Canvas will store them for you in a question bank. So over time, as you're importing new questions and new quizzes, Canvas will keep track of them for you. So you'll have the ability later down the line to create quizzes very quickly based upon the questions are already imported, which is really cool. Next are modules. That's your next option down this bar. Now what a course module is it's going to be a way for kids to walk through specific tasks on Canvas. And so I'm going to jump to an example that I have of modules. So in my biology course, these aren't real modules, but they're modules I made up, and it's an example of how they can be used. So for instance, in this unit, I have a unit module. So our first section for exploring life, I've created a series of tasks that I'm asking them to walk through in order. So for instance, if you want to assign multiple homework assignments that are due in a specific time frame, and you want the kids to walk through them in a specific order, a module might be a good option for you. And to create a module, all you have to do, and this would be clicking on the modules button here, you go to create module, and it will give you the options here on the right hand side. So here, remembering the gear as our settings and options, you'll come to add content, and you can edit and delete, of course, at any point you would like. And here are some options of things that perhaps you could put within the module. So for instance, in this biology module, I first had them read this. Next, they would be allowed to move on to the next content. And for instance, I embedded a homework assignment here. I said, next you're going to be reading chapter 1.2. Then they'll be able to move on to the next option, which for me, I embedded a quiz. Next, you will take this quiz, assuming they did well on the quiz, and these are settings that you can change. They would then next be able to move on to the next activity, and I embedded a video from Khan Academy. So this is just an example of what a module could be, and really the possibilities for how you could use these would be endless. Again, this is just another demonstration of how it could be used. Next option down here would be conferences. Conferences are within Canvas the ability to create a video conference in which you conference with your students. It's similar to Skype, or if you've ever gone to a webinar where you've used the application GoToMeeting, it's very similar. When creating a new conference, you have the ability to send out a video of yourself live and then communicate with students via a discussion board feature, as well as a feature in which the kids can ask you questions. So that would be another option of how you could use the conference feature. Now, collaborations, the next one down. Collaborations are ways to embed collaborating documents within your Canvas course. It works very nicely with Google Docs and Etherpad right now. What this will do is if you would like to embed a collaboration that the kids are working on, instead of sending them to Google Docs will be inside Canvas. So it's going to eliminate going to multiple websites and confusion that way. It's a way to keep everything connected and integrated within. Next is settings. So these are the settings for this particular course. These are not your settings. These are, again, settings just for my honors biology course. Options that are going to pop up here, you're going to see another right-hand bar that's going to give you a bunch of options, and you're going to see your options across the tops. So again, you should see your sections listed here. And then navigation. If there are certain things that you don't want the kids to be able to access, for instance, we're not really going to be using grades. If you want to get rid of grades, you don't want the kids to be able to see it, you'll click on grades, you'll drag it down here, and then grades will be disabled. The kids will not be able to see grades. If you want to rearrange, for whatever reason, the order in which these buttons appear on the left-hand navigation bar, you click one and you drag it to where you want it to go. And that way you can change the order if you would like to do that. The next option you're going to see are apps. Now, Canvas plays very nicely with a bunch of different apps. We have a ton of apps available to us right now, and Canvas is adding more literally every week. If you would like to enable an app to work nicely within your Canvas, all you need to do is click on it and go to Add Tool. And I actually have absolutely no idea what this app does. And you need a consumer key, so I'm not going to use that app. How about Khan Academy? They're just great. I'm going to add Khan Academy. Now, what I have done here by adding this app is I have enabled content from this app to be displayed in my Canvas. So for instance, when I want to create an assignment, or anything really, more options. When you get to a place where you have the ability to embed content, for instance, you will see the option for that app to be available. So I added Khan Academy as a tool in my course. Now I have the little Khan Academy leaf that appears here. So if I want to directly embed a Khan Academy video into this feed, I can click on this, and all of my Khan Academy videos will become available. So if I want to embed a force here, it's just become embedded. So the kids will be able to then go click on this, and they will then be able to watch the video about normal force and contact force. And that's how all of the apps will work. Now, some of these apps we won't have access to because, for instance, like McGraw-Hill, if you do not have McGraw-Hill campus textbook, then there is no reason to embed this app within your course content. But again, these are all the apps that it currently plays nice with, which is quite substantial, I think. I only know about, I don't know, 10 of these. And they're adding more every day. If there's an app you would like to see added that they do not currently have, you can feel free to request that from them, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Let's talk about the right-hand bar that comes up from in the Settings tab. You'll see all of your options here. If you are confused as to what kids can see, whether you've effectively hidden something or not, if you're just confused about what the kids are actually seeing, you have the ability to go into Student View here. So you click on Student View, and you have just become a student. So when my students log into my Honors Biology page, this is what they're seeing. And you can see what options that are available to them. You can see what like their course homepage would look like. So that's what the student view is. If you would like to go out of student view, you can say leave student view, and it'll take you back to your regular view. So jumping back to the settings to continue walking through the right-hand column, your other options you're going to see are course statistics, and what course statistics will show you will be running totals as well as what's going on with assignments, with each of your individual kiddos. Those will all display here. How much file storage you're using within your course. It gives you a lot of great analytic power in terms of how kids are doing in specific assignments, how general the class is doing, how all of your classes together are doing. It's got some pretty good descriptive analytic power, so this is a great option as well. Course calendar, this will just be the calendar for that particular course. So instead of this being the mega calendar of everything going on in every course, this is just for your specific courses calendar. If you would like to conclude this course, or you want perhaps at the end of the year for kids to stop getting emails about your course, but you want to tinker, that this would be a great option here. Deleting the course will do just that, delete your course. Now, copying course, this is a great option for if you want to move a ton of information, literally your entire course, to another course. So if you want to embed all of the files, all of the discussions, all of the assignments into a new course, you can completely copy one course and move it to another. If you would like to bring things into your course, you can import. If you would like to take things out of your course, you can export. And if you would like to reset everything, you can click that button right there. So those are all of your setting options that you get, again, from working down to this far bottom link for settings. So again, this is the home button, and it brings me back to my home screen. Now, if you would like to change the way that your home screen appears, for instance, I have this home screen set up for modules. You have the option here where it says change home page layout into any of these options here. So if you would like to do it as a page, as an introductory page that you've designed yourself, you have that option. If you wanted to just list the assignments, if you want to list the syllabus, those are all your different options you have here. And at any time, if you want to, before you publish the course, reference the little gray bar that shows up, you can come over here to Course Setup Checklist, and that'll make it reappear. Let's talk about how, so coming back home to the dashboard, let's now talk about what to do if you need help. You're going to come over here to this red taskbar up here, and you're going to click Help. And it's going to give you some links here. Canvas has a fantastic library of video tutorials and written tutorials that will walk you through either specific tasks or general questions, and that will be this link here, Searching the Canvas Guides. If there's a problem with Canvas that's not a Regis problem, so for instance, if it's not a problem with one of your classes or one of your students, or if there's an issue with things showing up, that's a Regis problem. But if there's a Canvas problem, like for instance, you can't get on Canvas, or mega chunks of data are all of a sudden missing, that's a Canvas problem. And Regis has great Canvas IT support from the instructor company that makes Canvas, and this would be a great option that's monitored 24/7, so if there are issues, please feel free to contact them via this option. We have a quick link to the Regis website. We have access to RadarNet as well as access to FA Web. And these two bottom features here, this Ask the Community button is a button that will take you to discussion boards of Canvas users all over the world that's monitored by Instructure. So if you want to talk to people that are also using Canvas to see how they're using it or how they're overcoming a problem, etc., this is a great option. If you have a feature like an app or a language or a math symbol that's not currently available in Canvas, but you would like to see it added, this is where you can do that as well. So any of these are good options for help. Again, if you feel you need more individual support, please feel free to contact me, Emily Glenn, eglenn@regisjesuit.com. I would be more than willing to work with you. Other great resources would be Jason Beyer as well as Kathy Leister. We're all here to help you. And there's also a number of faculty on campus that are already using Canvas, that used it last year, that would love to help you. So there really is a community of support here to assist you in any way necessary or needed. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.